This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. She is game day, not just for the Edmonton Oilers and the Calgary Flames, but my dear Cold Lake Ice, as well as the Junior B season up in Cold Lake gets underway for another year. However, I can talk all about that. Hopefully I'll be able to catch the third period of action on YouTube later on tonight. But with that said, what we need to know is the fact that the Oilers are out here making moves on the final day of the NHL preseason for our Edmonton Oilers, in which we face the Calgary Flames at 7 p.m. at the Saddledome. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going, unfortunately. But that means I will be live streaming this evening, keeping you guys entertained throughout the game while you watch the game on either EdmontonOilers.com or their Facebook page. It looks like they've eliminated Twitter. I'm not sure what's going on there, but we'll find out as the night progresses whether they'll be using Twitter this evening or not. So, with that said, what you need to know first off for today is obviously the news that came out this morning about 20 minutes ago. The fact that Anton Burdasov has been released from his PTO. So, did my digging, tried to find the stats on Burdasov. The real stat you need to know is he had 1 assist in his entire preseason campaign with the Oilers. I think it was a total of 3 or 4 games all said and done. And you look at that, you kind of math it out, and you say 1 assist for a guy who's supposed to have a great shot, supposed to be a force out there. That really doesn't show enough to beat out the guys that have contracts with this team already. So it's fair, and it's as Ryan Rishaug says, not a surprise, was in tough to make the team. Simple. That's Ryan Rishaug's tweet that just popped up on my computer as it sits right now. So with that, let's get on with the kind of name of the game tonight is the fact that we're playing the Calgary Flames and the Edmonton Oilers in the Saddledome. I'll get the lineup here, and what you need to know is the simple fact that number 97 is not playing. There's no reason to play him in the preseason as it sits right now. Really achieves nothing as we get towards October 2nd on Wednesday. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, the NHL opens up October 2nd, and I cannot wait. It's going to be a good time. Mikko Koskinen, Mike Smith in net. Well, one in net and one on the bench. Mikko Koskinen is your starter and will go the full distance this morning or this evening. Holy crap, I'm dying here, guys. I am dying. You know, I should not be doing game previews before noon, but it's what we do when things come out of the way this morning. And then you've got Mike Smith sitting on the bench just in case this evening. You've got Adam Larson, Darnell Nurse, Brandon Manning, Ethan Bear, Matt Benning, and William Lagesson on the blue line for our Oilers this evening. This is interesting in itself because you have a very tough conundrum to kind of battle through. You've got Brandon Manning, Ethan Bear, Matt Benning, and William Lagesson. Those are 4 guys competing for essentially what are 2 spots. Not all 4 guys are competing for the same 2 spots, mind you, but Ethan Bear is trying to take that spot from Brandon Manning, whether it be, or not Brandon Manning, from Matthew Benning, whether it be at the start of the year or as the year progresses, right? Because Bear could start the year as a 7th defenseman, but Pearson's going to be injured, so Bear's probably going to begin the year in the top 4D. That's just kind of the way it seems. Then you've got Matt Benning, who's kind of almost losing his spot here per se if Pearson comes back and they want to keep Bear. And then you've got William Lagesson battling for that 7th defenseman role. You've got Brandon Manning battling for that 7th defenseman role. So it really makes things challenging to try and get a good gauge on how this defense should operate tonight. However, the question becomes, as it has been in videos previous and days previous, is a simple fact of who's going to continue to step up. And in the last game I was able to watch, Bear stepped up, got 2 assists. Well, now all of a sudden we've got Bear absolutely lighting it up against the Winnipeg Jets the other night, and now we get to see, is he going to be able to step up one more time and say, hey coach, I'm your man? That's the question. And then you've got William Lagesson, who, what does he have to do to earn a role on this team? That's the question tonight, as he's got to go out there and just shut it down defensively and impress with whatever else he can do. That's for him. Brandon Manning, obviously he's the incumbent, so he has to go out there and just earn his playing time, and I think he'll try and do that tonight. It depends on what the D lines look like, but I'd imagine you probably see Ethan Bear and either Brandon Manning or Ethan Bear and Matt Benning. So take of that what you will. And the rest of the guys, this is our final preseason tune-up. This is everybody whose job's on the line is in the lineup earning a job tonight. You've got Joakim Nygard, you've got Colby Cave, Josh Archibald, Jujhar Khaira, Riley Sheahan, Leon Draisaitl, Alex Chiasson, which a lot of you guys were kind of saying maybe doesn't exactly have that full role on this team considering who's to cut. With Burdasov cut, that saves him an extra chance here. And then you've got Zach Kassian, Marcus Granlund, Sam Gagner, Gaetan Haas, and Thomas Shirko. So that's a lot of guys competing for spots tonight in the final against Calgary. Obviously, what do you expect? You expect some good performances out of some guys who have stepped up so far this camp. And not necessarily stepped up on the score sheet, but stepped up just kind of pace of play even. So Joakim Nygard, we love his speed. We just need to continue to see that tonight. We need to see him do something that he hasn't done so far. I think that's the last thing Dave Tippett's waiting for, is just that signal that he can do something unexpected. And that we'll find out tonight. Colby Cave, I think you would join me as we all would in saying we'd love to see a goal out of him to solidify his 13th, 14th forward role. Josh Archibald, Jujhar Khaira, Riley Sheahan, I imagine they'll all be playing on a line together. They just got to go out there and prove that they are the Edmonton Oilers' third line this year. That's all they have to do. Simple as that. And then Draisaitl, well, you know what Draisaitl's going to do. He's going to bring it no matter what. Alex Chiasson, he just has to kind of define what his game is all about again to a new coaching staff. Not that he has to define it to us, the fans. He just has to go out there and define it to the coaching staff. And I think we could see a sneaky good game on Alex Chiasson tonight. I'd like to see him pushing people over in the corners a little bit more because Chiasson listed at 6'3", 210. He's got the ability to go into the corners and rub guys down. He doesn't do it often enough in my mind, but it doesn't burn him per se. But I'd love to see more out of him for sure on that front. Zach Kassian, 6'3", 209, so same build as Alex Chiasson, plays a much grittier game. He's got to go out there and drive the net and smash some guys around and just have a solid game to either give Tippett the idea of playing him on the top line or looking elsewhere to slot him in the lineup. Then you've got Marcus Granlund and Sam Gagner. Guys, these two guys are very big question marks. Is that a fair statement? I think question marks is definitely a fair statement when it comes to these guys playing tonight, because Marcus Granlund kind of almost seems to be battling for a job even though he has a $1.3 million contract. Waivers could be a factor. And then Sam Gagner, guys, if things get so tough and they're like, we need to free up cap and we want to play this guy, they're going to trade Sam Gagner. That's the scary part about it. But to sit here and panic about that seems a little far-fetched, as right now Sam Gagner seems to be a pretty much bona fide Edmonton Oiler, and it's just a matter of finding him a role that isn't the fourth line or, of course, the 13th, 14th forward. That leaves two guys who are very interesting spots right now. Gaetan Haas, who I don't know if you play him as a 13th, 14th forward in there with Colby Cave, or you have him at the fourth line center role, or what you do with Gaetan Haas, because it depends what you do with your big three down the middle, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. And then the final man, ladies and gentlemen, the guy I talked about being a top line candidate this year for the Oilers, Thomas Shirko. This is going to be interesting to see what he brings. He's had some fantastic performances, absolutely fantastic lights out performances this preseason. But the question is now, can he finish it in style? That's all it comes down to. For Mr. Thomas Shirko, it is finishing everything in style. And that's going to be a tough task against the Calgary Flames team tonight. But this team, spare parts maybe. But I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do this evening. Guys, I'm going to be rocking in here with about a... You know what? I probably am predicting a loss. I'm saying this Oilers team takes a loss. But probably a 4-3 loss. I'd love to see it in overtime. At least see us roll out the OT lines a little bit. But I'm predicting a loss tonight just based on how this lineup lines up, and especially knowing that Calgary is probably getting Matthew Tkachuk in there and stuff like that. But we'll find out what goes on tonight at 7 p.m., guys. Hope you can join me for the stream. I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. I will catch you, as always, in the next one.